Welcome to SVG-TV's news for Wednesday, August the 28th, 2019. I am Bhavin Oliver with the details. The use of technology, the importance of the community, and the need for sustainable development are some of the issues being examined at the Caribbean Tourism Authority's Sustainable Development Conference, which officially opened here today at the Beachcombers Hotel. We hear more on the opening ceremony in this report. Sustainability allows for any sector to bring benefits to its stakeholders, both in the long and short term, and tourism stakeholders from across the region and further afield are meeting here in SVG to discuss the issue of sustainability in the tourism product in their respective countries. The delegates at the Caribbean Tourism Organization's Conference on Sustainable Tourism over the next few days will be engaged in a number of activities, including media tours, which will give them the opportunity to view firsthand SVG's unique natural resources. The sessions of the conference are crafted in a way to expand the knowledge of the participants on issues such as community-based tourism, development models for social integration, the natural environment, and the threat of climate change. Although the CEO of the Caribbean Tourism Organization, Neil Walters, was unable to be in SVG for the conference due to the passage of Tropical Storm Dorian, he used technology to deliver his remarks to the participants. In his presentation, Walters said though tourism is the lifeblood of many countries in the region, at many times it has not been in sync with the environment. Walters said as such, the CTO conference can serve as a platform to promote sustainable development of the region's tourism product.
Conferences like this one are very relevant as they provide platforms for the dissemination of good practices which can, if properly implemented, help to bridge the gap and ensure a symbiotic relationship between the tourism industry and the environment in which it functions. In this region, like other regions of the world, tourism taps into several different resources, not just the sun, sea, and sand. No more than ever before, visitors are collectors of experiences, and not just any experience, but an authentic experience.
To deliver remarks at the opening ceremony was the Chief Executive Officer of the SVG Tourism Authority, Glenn Beach, who said the Caribbean Tourism Organization is an important institution for the region and highlighted areas of partnership SVG has and will be engaged in with the authority.
We'll be working with Barbados on a new cruise ship initiative. We'll be working with Grenada and St. Lucia on marketing some of our yachting facilities as yachting destinations. As much as we're in competition with each other, we still have to work with each other. And I want to say this and make it clear that I'm very happy with what CTO has done in terms of pushing and educating tourism and making that. And I am of the firm belief that CTO should, if any marketing initiatives take place, should remain with CTO.
Delivering the feature address at the opening ceremony was Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who said sustainable development is a key part of his administration's functions, which can be seen in his thrust in areas of education and renewable energy. PM Gonsalves said climate change, resource scarcity, the aging society, growing inequality, and artificial intelligence are problems which will affect the tourism product in member states. He used a historical example to highlight the possible implications of artificial intelligence and called on all leaders to work together to address this and other problems which could hamper tourism.
And Ford said to the union leader, "Walter, what do you think about these robots? When we have more of them and the whole place is filled with them, who will pay your union dues?" Ford was looking at the question of getting rid of the union. And the union leader said to him, "Henry, who will buy your cars?" In that formulation, we see the challenges which lie ahead for all of us in life, work, and production.
Tomorrow, the delegates at the CTO conference will continue their deliberations on building sustainable tourism products across member states. For SVG-TV's Evening News, I am Bhavin Oliver. Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer of the SVG Tourism Authority, Glenn Beach, said it is crucial for communities to be involved and reap the benefits of tourism. Beach was at the time speaking on the community-based tourism at today's opening ceremony of the Caribbean Tourism Organization's conference.
Of water in the Caribbean, the communities must feel it. they must be able to manage different sites. They must be trained. And no matter what we say, the object of what we do is to make sure that visitors leave as much money in the country as possible. And that's putting it bluntly. And what makes it even harder is that we're not just up against each other in the Caribbean. We're up against every other country in the world. I'm gonna show a bit of my age here right now, because in the 70s, nobody would have believed that Vietnam would have been a world player in tourism, but they are. And every country has realized what tourism brings to their economic standing.
Government-owned and assisted schools across the country have been receiving upgrades under the annual Upgrading of School Premises project. The project has been implemented by the Roads, Buildings and General Services Authority, BRACSA, under the supervision of the Ministry of Transport and Works. BRACSA's Chief Executive Officer Ken Bartholomew explained the nature of the work done.
So far, we are going quite smoothly. The works include roofing works, major roofs in some cases, areas where we recognize that the school is leaking, and although it's not part of the scope that we have to do works on the roof, because we cannot replace ceiling if the roof is leaking, or fix electrical if there's problem with the roof. So major works in a lot of schools with doors. We did replacing of doors, windows, we did tiling. We're doing a lot of plumbing works in practically all the schools, because we know the issues with plumbing, especially in the primary schools and so forth. And even with this program, which the assessment was done way before we started this program, the extent of the scope has changed significantly to show that there's always damage to the furnitures, to the plumbing, to the lighting fixtures. So there's always repairs that we have to do. So we are doing this.
With just a few more days before the reopening of schools across the country, Bartholomew gave the assurance that the contractors are working assiduously to get the schools ready for the start of the new academic year.
Now we have entered into contracts with about 97 contractors, and in the Grenadines though, we have entered into full contracts, while on the mainland we are mainly with labor contracts. And these contractors, I must commend them, they're doing a pretty good job, working weekends, working late hours, just pushing to make up for the time that we have lost and the time that they have committed to on the contracts to get these works done. As I said, work is progressing quite smoothly. There were some delays initially with logistics, especially for materials, because delivering materials to over 90 schools, right, at the same time can have some challenges. In addition to that, the hardware that a few in the country were overwhelmed.
Over $6 million Eastern Caribbean dollars have been invested in the upgrade of school premises this year, as compared to $1.3 million in 2017 and $1.4 million in 2018. In light of this investment in the school repair program, the Ministry of Education is appealing to key stakeholders to take care of schools and all the educational resources. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Michael Burke, said teachers and principals are to take great responsibility to assist the ministry in ensuring that the facilities are kept in an optimal condition.
I'm sure for the persons who view social media, there was a video being circulated of a student taking a piece of furniture and throwing that piece of furniture from one story to the next. And the furniture was damaged, and it is these callous acts that the Ministry of Education is very much concerned about. So the question that will be asked, what measures can be put in place to address these issues and other issues relating to the upkeep of the facilities and the furnitures.
Burke said there are consequences from the Education Act, Section 145, which can be used against any person who damaged school property.
Property, and it says a student who willfully damages or destroys school's property or the property of any person lawfully on the school premises commits an offense and is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $500. If he or she is under the age of 16 years, or if he or she is 16 years of age or older, to such fine or to imprisonment for 3 months or both. The court before which a student referred to in subsection 1 is tried may order the parent of that student to pay compensation for the destruction or damage caused without affecting subsection 2. Nothing in this section or section 143, 144 and 145 shall affect the application of the Juvenile Offenders Act to a student who is under the age of 16. In summary, it speaks about the administering of a fine of $500 for damages to school property or imprisonment.
Burke said that the punishment would be too harsh on parents and students, so the Ministry of Education will be taking alternative measures to maintain the facilities, which will include a reward system that awards the best kept schools throughout the year.
We've had numerous discussions on this issue, and we are looking at the possibility of having a reward system, which would speak also to an awards program. So the reward is that we're looking to revive the best school competition, the best kept school competition, the best led school. These are some of the categories we're looking at. And we are trying to identify suitable criteria so we can judge fairly, so we can reward fairly, and there will be consenting voices and not dissenting voices. And at the end of the academic year, we can see the benefits of using rewards instead of punishment. So I reiterate, the best school competition, the best kept school facility, the best led school, perhaps even categories of the best teacher using objective criteria. Those are some of the things that we have to consider.
Chief Education Officer Elizabeth Walker says other strategies will also be adopted to influence positive behaviors and prevent damage to school property.
When behavior problems have posed an ongoing challenge to the safety and the productive environment of schools. Some students come from homes without the social skills to relate to their school and even to relate to a positive school environment. I think we as a ministry would need to focus more on working with these students, have a proactive approach instead of a reactive approach, to identify the students early and to have programs that can assist in developing their social skills, which some of them would not have come to the institution with.
The police here are investigating a report of attempted murder made by a 32-year-old resident of Green Hill against some unknown person or persons. According to the investigations, the assailant, allegedly with intent to commit the offense of murder, shot the complainant about his body with a gun. The incident occurred at around 9:30 p.m. yesterday. The police are also investigating a report of robbery made by a 40-year-old resident of Petit Bedell against two known assailants of the same address. According to the report, the virtual complainant, the assailant allegedly robbed him of 90 EC dollars in cash, and at the time of doing so, put him in fear by pointing a gun at him. The incident occurred at Petit Bedell at around 9 a.m. on Monday. The police are soliciting information that will aid in the arrest and prosecution of the offenders to contact the Assistant Commissioner in charge of crime at 1784-456-1339 or the officer in charge of the Criminal Investigation Department at 1784-456-1810 or any police station or police officer that they feel comfortable with. All information they say will be treated with the strictest confidentiality. The nation's youth have been challenged to never rest until their good is better and their better is best. This encouragement comes from Deputy Chairman of the Scholarship Committee of the General Employees Cooperative Credit Union, GECU, Ronnie Daniel, who was speaking at the credit union's 8th Annual Youth Leadership Symposium, which opened today at the Anglican Pastoral Center under the theme, Live Purposefully, Embrace Creativity. Daniel told the participants at the end of the symposium that they should leave with an energized feeling that they can change the world and make humanity much better and take ownership of their life and education.
Life can indeed be risky, or is risky, depending on where you sit. But the thought also came to me that while life can be risky, the risk is greater or greatest if you're not prepared for it or you don't understand it at all. But one of the surest ways of minimizing that risk that you may experience as a student, as a full teenager, as a young adult, as an adult, as a professional, as an academic, both in terms of your personal and academic development or professional development, one of the surest ways of navigating these experiences or the risk is by taking ownership for your own personal and professional development. Your presence here today signals that you are taking your own development seriously. You are here because you are the best of the best.
Daniel further advised the participants that upon achieving success, they should not be ungrateful to persons whom have given them a helping hand along the way, and that they should also find ways to give back to the community from where they came.
Done well, when you have done all you can do to make your life better and life for others better, remember there are persons who helped you along the way. And so it is important that you give back to the community from which you came. And I'm not necessarily talking about money. That's important. But give of your time, of your expertise, wherever you are in the world. Remember those who have been supportive, whether through this GECU family or your immediate family or your community. Give back something of your time, your resources, and your professional advice to this country or to this region that you are part of.
Director of GECU Colin Sam reminded participants of the symposium theme, Live Purposefully, Embrace Creativity, and encouraged them to not only focus on their academics, but also let their creative works be a part of their life.
When I was in grammar school, the program that was offered to us lacked creativity. So we couldn't think outside of the box. We were told that, you know what, you want to make something in life, be a doctor or a lawyer, be an engineer. All right? We are now trying to equip you with the resources, with the knowledge, with the know-how. Yes, be resolved in your academics, study hard, but embrace creativity. As Shanti said, think outside of the box. And who best epitomizes that is our featured speaker. She's a scholar, yes, she's bright like 10, 15 label, but she's also a designer. You understand? And not just any PR designer. Her clothing line does make money. You of us. So, she has lived or is living purposefully because she is also an executive at Couriers, and everybody who knows Couriers, they just pay good. You understand? So she is living purposefully, but she has also embraced what her creativity has done for her.
And former GECU scholar Odini Sutherland encouraged the participants to use their creative talent to make an impact in society. Sutherland, who is a designer, said being creative involves imagination and coming up with original ideas to create things, and that she is fortunate to live in a region where it is okay to think outside the box. However, she noted that there are challenges also in being creative.
A lot of obstacles would pop up when you decide you want to do something creative with your life. The ones I got the most, that is nonsense. It's not a real job. What are you doing? You're wasting your time. These are the things that you hear, and usually it's from the people that are very close to you, which makes it hurt a little bit more. And we can understand where they're coming from because they want us to do well. And in the past, the jobs that tend to do well are the lawyers, the doctors, the engineers, the businessmen, that sort of thing. So they're coming from that area where it's actually their way of showing love to you, but it's limiting because of their fear of what might happen to you. And it's unfortunate because there's so many creative people who then diminish what they have inside because of what they're being told by those around us. And it's unfair.
Sutherland said she is happy that art and creativity are now part of the extracurricular activities in schools because studies have shown their importance in skills development.
The study of art, the study of creative things actually increases your motor skills, it increases your language learning abilities, and it also helps you become a creative problem solver, which is something in this advancing world you need to be, because the thinking straight like that now no longer applies because there's so much technology and so much things happening. You need to be able to think like this, and you need to think sometimes when you don't have the actual resources you need to be able to figure out, okay, how do we fix this? This doesn't work, we need to find something else to do. And so studying in a creative industry kind of actually helps to create such things like that. Art is also a direct linkage to our culture, because most of our culture is some form of creativity. Our biggest example, I guess, for us would be like carnival. And I guess directly you'd see like mask making, and not like beads and feathers, like the actual traditional bands that actually create these costumes. These guys build these things from like cardboard. And then you see them on the road and you're like, wow.
District 81 of Toastmasters International has announced Tamira Brown as the new director of Area 21. Her appointment will run from July 2019 to June 2020, and she will preside over the operations of 3 clubs in SVG: Achievers Toastmasters Club, Imperial Champions Toastmasters Club, and the Creative Thinkers Toastmasters Club. Brown, who also holds the designation of Advanced Communicator Gold and Advanced Leadership Silver in Toastmasters International, will be responsible for providing support to clubs for all members, overall development of their communication and leadership skills. In addition, she will serve as the chairperson of the Area Council. The Area Council will assist in providing a supportive and positive learning experience in which members and prospective members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills.